What's going on, guys? ChaseWins.com. Friday, the 25th of February. Welcome to another weekend, guys. Kicking off another weekend, following up another fantastic, just incredible week. Profit flowing. I mean, the levees have broke. The profit is coming through as it always does, just faster than some people would be able to keep up with it. Getting ready for what we hope to be another memorable weekend, just like last weekend was. Obviously, last week, having the NHL be what it was, not just making money across college basketball and actually a little bit across NBA, even though NBA, we didn't really have anything towards the latter part of the week once they kind of broke off for the All-Star break. And then All-Star weekend, we didn't bet anything on those events, which they were shit. I watched the dunk contest. It was a joke. I mean, the three-point shooting contest was, it was all right, but it was a joke to say the least. So didn't have any, money. I probably wouldn't have put $10 on that event. And I'm glad I didn't. So, but that, and then of course they've been on their true all-star break, this week leading up into yesterday. That was the first day back of NBA action. So I even made a little bit of money in the NBA last week before they, broke for the all-star part of the season and the event, and then their true all-star break. Made some money in college basketball, of course, and then NHL was just, you can't say enough about that. Not just premium and top plays making a lot of money, but also cashing in fairly early in the week our NHL game of the year for this season, which was incredible. I mean, it cashed just 9 seconds into the start of the second period. So basically a third of the way through the game, the ticket had already cashed. And we could follow it up with the game of the week that weekend. And then on Sunday, to round out the weekend, there was a game of the month that we cashed. And all these games cashed with a third of the game left or more to play in regulation. So congratulations to everybody. I mean, that was 22 units of profit just by itself, just in those three games and in one sport. So it's been a great February, following up a fantastic January, kicking off another great year. We are reading the market so well, and we're going to keep it going. Can't wait to kick off another March. Usually February's hit or miss. February is usually a good month of profit because you have certain things that take place in February that are such a small part of the month of February, but end up making up what could be, a substantial amount of your profit because of the Super Bowl. Not only do we bet a lot on the Super Bowl game itself, but along with, team, player, and then game matchup props that we do, even some exotic props. Usually the Super Bowl in and of itself, I haven't had a year where the Super Bowl, the last time that I picked a Super Bowl, winner that did not come through, picking the winner of the game, or, just picking a side and being wrong as far as the spread goes, was back 2009. It was either 2009, 2010, because Pittsburgh and Green Bay played. Everybody loved Pittsburgh that year. Rodgers versus Big Ben. I had Green Bay. I had the over, and good winner there. But the year prior to that, I was wrong, but been on a streak since then, so over 10 years going in. And every year since 2016, it's been double-digit units of profit made on the Super Bowl. So just on Super Bowl Sunday, 10-plus units made. Last year, there was, almost 20 units made with the Buccaneers and the Chiefs. The year before that, 17.5 units made. This past year, just shy of 15 units, right at 14.5 units made on the Rams. We didn't win the actual Rams pick. We actually pushed on that one because we bought it down. They won by 3. We had it at 3, but that was no big deal. Did have the Rams to win, and then all our team and player props were just cashing in left and right. Had more exotic props this year than I ever have, so that was great. So, but if you even take that out of it, February has just been incredible because of the amount of big releases that, by following everything as closely as I do and being ready to pounce when it's time, we've been able to release more, major releases in the month of February than we normally would on average. And because they just keep cashing, the profit just keeps flowing. So I guess it'll be bittersweet to see February leave, but I'm ready to kick off March, get back to a full month where you have a full 30 to 31 days instead of 28. But even though it was a short month and you have to battle trying to make up, what could be 4 to 5 days of profit that you would not, 2 to 3 days of profit that you normally would have the opportunity to make, but you don't in February. Usually the Super Bowl can make up for that, but you always want to make sure that outside of that big event that you compensate going into the end of it being ahead of what you wanted to be for that particular month. So been a great one, coming off a great Wednesday, coming off of an even better Thursday. We did not have a daily top play on Thursday, but a lot of premium plays. It was a very big Thursday card, and with the rate that we won and we cashed in, it was a great day nonetheless, even though there wasn't a top play released. So we'll get into that. What I will tell you is what we've got coming up for this weekend. And I'm actually waiting on now. I'm dropping off my Escalade for some service, getting a normal tune-up done as the spring starts to come around and it starts warming up. It's getting into, even though you wake up and it's still frigid outside, it's been getting into the 70s. So here in the next month, it'll be really warm. So doing the spring, summer, tune-up service, whatever, throwing some new tires on it stuff. So I'll drop this off for a few days and wait for my pickup to take me to get the rental car. Figured I'd knock out a video and also tell you what we've got coming up this weekend, hopefully. There is a game, and I mentioned this on an earlier video at the very beginning of the week, that there was a game that I had zoned in on for, basically the end of the season, because next week you're going to start seeing a lot of these conferences go on and do their conference tournaments, things like that. And then March Madness is right around the corner. I mean, we're less than 2 weeks from, or just right at 2 weeks, I guess you could say, from the big dance starting, the big tournament. So we will have packages listed on that coming up this week. May release it on Sunday. I don't know, because obviously for the next handful of days, it's just normal regular season basketball. But for people that did not buy the season pass or they are not all access members, you will be able to get all of the conference tournaments all the way through the Final Four and the national championship. And if you don't buy that, we will have just stuff for the big tournament that'll be, from the opening rounds all the way through the national championship game. But I have zoned in on what I hope to be the game of the year. This one, while I have liked, like I said, 6 or 7 potential games of the year, this one in particular, and I know we're talking about college basketball, but I'm not even saying that that's what this is in. It could be the NBA. But either way, this is a game that I have zoned in on, and I'm not going to tell you if it's for Saturday. I'm not going to tell you if it's for Sunday. Just know that while I have liked 6 or 7 games for Game of the Year status, usually within a day or two as I'm looking ahead towards it, information comes out, rosters, who's going to be there, who's not, as far as who's playing, changes things. The line comes out with no value. The odds are too steep. There's no financial value in it. The market starts fluctuating in weird ways and starts moving that line in and out of that value, cuff that I have to have for me to release something, especially the biggest rate, or the highest rated game that I would release in any sport ever is a game of the year. And for it to be that, it has to be tenfold what I would on a normal premium play. So for that, it takes a lot. So every season, every sport, there's always going to be at least a handful of games that I like, and rather quickly, days before I scratch it because of whatever the reason may be, and until one finally just meets the criteria. This one in particular, I'm not saying that initially I liked it more than all those others, but this one has stood the test all week long from when I started looking at it on Monday afternoon of this week, and now here we are Friday evening. Plays are out. Big day again today. Double top plays we've got. We've got a huge NBA card, the biggest one basically the biggest one of the month of February thus far. A nice college basketball slate and a big NHL slate with double top plays going. One of those top plays actually rated out as a big game of the week, but because there's already been a game of the week in the NHL this week, I won't rate it at that. So basically, we'll consider my loss as your gain, because I can't, you lose out on being able to do a game of the week twice, because I'm not going to be like other cappers. If I've released one that week, I won't release a second one, whether it rates it or not. And because we cashed in on a game of the month and game of the year last week, we can't do those either. But so instead of paying, $50, $100, for what would be a game of the week, you can get it for $25. Just go to chasewins.com and jump on it. You need to be on it by, to be safe, be on it by 8:30. That way you can make sure that you have plenty of time to get your wagers in before the puck drops. And as far as I know, the odds haven't changed. And with it going in the next hour and a half, I don't think it will. If it does, it won't change it enough to really make a difference, maybe 5 cents. So do that. But this game has stood the test of it. Here we are Friday evening, and I like it just as much, if not more, than I did on Monday when I first saw it. Now, leading up into this, there had been no line on it, and as of right now, there still is not, as far as the major books. William Hill, who I use, Circa, Stations, all the big books, even the offshore, the more well-known, more used offshore books like your Bovadas and your BetOnlines and your MyBookies and blah, blah, blah. They don't have a line. Now, there is one offshore book that released a line, and they released it like early this morning. Like, it was out. First glance I took at the market this morning was at about 10 minutes to 7, and the line was out, and it didn't really make a lot of sense. Trust me, if I felt like that line was a true line instead of just something to kind of bring people in and, get some initial bets on something before, then they end up skyrocketing something to kind of make everybody else look the other way so that they can get that even money on both sides, I would have jumped on it for above 10 units. I don't believe the line is credible. And obviously there's no market movement on it whatsoever, which if it was that, there would be movement. It would be sporadic. And it would go, 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 go. That's what I'm expecting. I do expect there to be a line, in the overnight hours tonight, if not first thing in the morning, 6, 7 a.m. And I believe that within the first 2 hours, we're going to see a lot of movement. Again, not big jumps one way or the other, but it's going to be something where even if it's just a half a point or, odds-wise 5 to 10 cents, I think it's going to fluctuate back and forth a dozen or more times within the first 2 or 3 hours. So the second that line comes out, I'll be notified the way that I've got my system set up, and I am going to just be glued to the market just to see what's coming in on it, because I do believe that once that initial settle down happens and people start settling in, and then you've got the overthinkers and the sharps, or the people, I guess, who think they're sharps, will then start wagering the bigger money on it, and I believe that it's going to push that game farther in our favor, because I do believe this is going to be one of those that's almost not a trap, but almost a trick, where on paper it makes sense, but when you really dive deep into it, it's actually pushing you towards the opposite of what it should be. So I hope that happens, and if it does, there will be a game of the year, so you need to stay tuned for that. Go to chasewins.com, sign up for an account. You don't even have to make a purchase as long as you fill out all your information. You have your email. That way you'll get on the email list and you'll know the second that it gets released. Follow on social media, Twitter. It's in the description below. Speaking of Twitter, all the people that we were doing the $500 MLB season pass for, the big promotion because of UNC's win last weekend, as well as the promotions that we were running where the first come, first serve, but then Twitter, we were one of the accounts affected. That, we have now gotten all of that caught up. Responses have not been sent out to everybody yet. We've gone through, we've looked at the timeline of everything, and we've picked out who the winners of certain things were and who were the first to come in to be able to claim one of those coupon codes. So we're gonna reach out to everyone tonight. Do that. But if you have not reached out saying that you want to be one of those, go ahead and do it. Do it tonight. Do it as early as possible, because if we do not get a response or those coupon codes used within a certain amount of time, we're going to give about 12 hours on most of it, 24 and something if they're in a different time zone. But if it's not used, then it'll immediately expire on their end, and then we're going to be drawing random names at that point. So you could easily be drawn even though you didn't enter or put your name in it until, right now. So do that. Go on Twitter. Follow us there. Get on the website. If you're on a package or you're getting ready to be, once you purchase one, you'll automatically get all the email updates regarding anything, not just the game of the years and promotions and stuff like that. Email goes out for any type of announcement. You'll get it. And then, so yeah, that's it. Obviously, there's that. And then there is the potential for a game of the week or month still before the month is over. We still have plenty of time there in the NBA. I've got 3 games circled that I'm looking at. No lines on any of them yet because they span anywhere from as early as this weekend to middle of next week. So don't worry about that, guys. We have plenty of time left. I hope we get to release one just to make it that much, more profit we can put in our pocket. But what we did last month, as much profit as we made, to be able to say that we may blow through that like it's nothing in February is definitely saying something, and I'm excited, and we're going to keep it going. Let's do a recap really fast of what we did yesterday. A total of 14 plays were released. Yes, 14. 13 just in college basketball. And that's big for a Thursday, especially with no top plays. But let's do a recap real quick of what the record was and how much profit and ROI, because that's what really matters. So again, yesterday, we'll start with the NBA. Yesterday, NBA was the first day back from the All-Star break, and I only had one play that I released, and of course, it was an underdog. Took the Detroit Pistons +6 as the one and only play in the NBA yesterday. Big premium play. Not only did the Pistons cover the spread, they won outright like my underdogs tend to always do. So an easy winner there for a nice 1-0 sweep to kick things back off post All-Star break in the NBA and pick up 1 unit there. And then we get into the NCAA slate yesterday. Started out Old Dominion. Moneyline minus $1.10. They were actually +1, +1.5 for most of the day. And then right around 6 p.m. when we released that game, it was basically a pick 'em, even money. So you did whatever you want to do. You're going to lay $1.10 either way. Took Old Dominion. Easy winner there. It was, go look at the score. It was never in doubt, and that was one where the line was just way off. Old Dominion should have been laying 4.5 is what my numbers had it at, so an easy edge to find there. Winner there. And then we had the Western Illinois -12. That was a push. Why they fouled twice when they were up by double digits, and they did it in the last 100 seconds, 120 seconds of the game, will never, ever, ever make sense to me. One of them, I think, was a fluke. I don't think they should have been called. They played defense. I don't know why they were even playing the defense that they were, but I respect that because, again, even though they ended up giving up 4 points because of fouls, and even though one time they ended up setting this obscure pick where they go to set the pick, and then once that pick's been set, one player falls back to the defensive zone just breaks off and a man's left wide open behind the arc. Instead of, they should have been able to win this game by 18 to 20 points, and in the last minute not really had to do anything, just kind of let their opponent do whatever. But again, a few factors, plus not to mention they gave up a shot. Well, they gave up that foul, number one, with 2 points. They gave up another shot in the last 10 seconds that was garbage. The other team shouldn't have taken it, but line was -12 at -$1.10 with Western Illinois. They won by exactly 12, so we pushed. No harm, no foul. It's like it never happened. We did take a loss on Alabama Birmingham -14. Another one, a garbage time shot where at the buzzer, floats it up past the 3-point line. UAB was up by 15, and again, if he were to go out there and do that 10 more times in a row, he wouldn't make that shot. It's not like he even really tried to make it. He just kind of threw it up there but it's a garbage time shot. You're down by 15. You're literally coming down the court, throwing in the last possession with, 3.9 seconds to go. You throw that up. It is what it is. It went in by, a miracle, and it took us from not only covering, but having some to spare. Covering the -14. They're up by 15. That 3 goes in. They only cover by 12 at the buzzer. So we did drop that one by a measly 2 points because of the garbage time shot. But hey, that's sports sometimes. You got to live with it. So then we move on from there, and this is where it starts getting interesting. Start off with North Texas -19.5. That line should have been 25. Easy winner there. Abilene Christian -17. Should have been 21.5. Easy winner. IUE money line minus $1.15. Now that one was a loss. I will take that one any day of the week. I would make that pick 1,000 times over. When you go into overtime and those teams played as fast and as hard as they did, it was a crapshoot, and they just ran out of gas just about a minute and a half, 2 minutes before. So they ended up losing the game. We dropped that little measly money line, $1.15 play. Gonzaga minus 10 at minus $1.05, which blows my mind who came up with that line and why everybody was so infatuated with San Francisco yesterday, as if a team that's just barely in the top 60 of college basketball versus the team that is and deserving of the number one spot in college basketball just because they're the home team and they're in conference. Whatever, I'll take it, especially at minus $1.05. That's a gift from the heavens. Needless to say, Gonzaga took care of business. That was a winner. Portland University +2. Not only they cover, another underdog wins outright. Portland State, which I got two people that told me I was to quote, a fucking moron for picking that. Portland State was +6. Well, since I'm such a moron, they covered. And I must really be a moron since they won outright in blowout fashion. I mean, they anally sodomized their opponent. So, who's the moron now, dick? Anyway, BYU minus 12. Probably the easiest pick on the board of the night. Easy winner. Arizona minus 10, winner. Sacramento State, money line, minus $1.25, winner. And then the only other loss for the third of only 3 losses that we took last night was a game that I will admit I was just wrong about. It was a bad pick on my part. Numbers made sense. I mean, it wasn't a great edge, but the numbers made sense. I felt good about it, and I was wrong. I was just dead wrong. And that was Belmont and Murray State over 144. I mean, good God, I don't even know if they got to 120. It was a bad pick on my part. So that one, I'm going to eat and just say I was the dumbass there. But a 10-3-1 day, just shy of 7 units of pure profit picked up, because this dumbass is the fucking GOAT for a reason. I am the king, and guess what? You wish you could be like me. That's why you run that little trap over email, and you still buy packages religiously, because you know that you can't make money on your own. You got to come to daddy. So anyway, 10-3-1 day on Thursday. Another 7 units of profit picked up. We get into Friday. Here's a couple of free plays for you. Oh, got a free play on Twitter that I put out. If you're a YouTube, in the members only section, a VIP member of the YouTube channel, you can go out there. I gave out at least a half dozen plays there. There's at least one top play that gets given out there every week. Tonight was the night for that, so that was given out. Bunch of stuff for the YouTube members. And then Twitter, I did give out 2 free plays going in the NBA in an 8 o'clock game, so you can go follow there, pick that up. But your free plays, first one we're going to do the 10:05 game in the NHL. This is one that, again, numbers would lead you to believe under. I'm going to take over just because of what I've seen over the past week the past week worth of games. So the past 5 to 7 games from these teams. And that's the LA Kings and the Anaheim Ducks over 5.5 goals. It's minus $1.15. And again, with both of these goalies, plus both of the way those offenses are set up and the way that you would see it on paper and the numbers, you would definitely lean under here. And I've even seen a couple of 6s offshore that you can go find if you shop them. And that's what people seem to be doing, is trying to find that 6, seeing if they can buy it up to 6.5, and then taking that round number where they have the ability to push but going under. I believe this is an over game, because if you look at the past 5 to 7 games, both of these teams have really redirected their focus offensively to getting shots on goal off, not focusing so much on we have to have a play set up exactly like this. If you get open and you have something in front of you, if you don't take the shot on goal, then you can't put the puck in the back of the net. You don't put the puck in the back of the net, you don't score a goal, you can't win a game. So both of these teams have really, as of the first of the year, started to transition and move towards that. And really over the past 2 weeks, so again, that 5 to last 7 games, you've really seen that in a pretty profound way, the change in offense. And I don't think that stops tonight with two, it's not a huge rivalry, but these teams don't like each other. They're in state. These are your two LA teams. And I just like it. I think both of these teams are going to come out gung-ho, especially Anaheim. LA may come out a little more reserved in the beginning because they know they have that small talent gap and they can create plays better. If Anaheim comes out as motivated and as, hair on fire attitude as I think they will, they pick up a goal or two real quick, and then LA is going to snap in line, and you're going to start seeing the puck really fly. And I think because of that, I think we get to 6 with plenty of time left, and this could even be a 7 to 8 goal game if they're taking good shots. I think the shots will be taken. It's whether they take good shots. But the numbers support it. Over the last couple of weeks, what's happened, the data supports it. The market moves definitely support going against everybody else here. So I'm going to take over 5.5 goals at minus $1.15. LA Kings, Anaheim Ducks. And then your nightcap in college basketball. I'm not even going to get all into this one. San Jose State, they suck. I mean, they suck so bad it hurts. San Diego State, I don't think they're all that they're cracked up to be. I've said that since they were the number one team and won 20-something straight games, in very recent memory, mind you. They're a good team. They're a top 25 team, in my opinion. I do not think they're inside the top 20. They're very fast-paced, but, again, they're not very big. And underneath, they're not as great at rebounding. Tonight, they have the advantage in every category. And then if you look at just the talent difference, it's heads and tails all the way. My line gave this at 24.5. And that was low end, and that was, neutral site. You take in the fact that it is home court, and every team now is playing for seeding. They're playing for home court if they move on. And, of course, there's some teams that are just playing to be the spoiler. Every team is playing for something now going into what could be, a kid's final games of his basketball career. At least the final of college, if they don't advance further, which for teams like this isn't very likely. So when they're done in college, they're done. There are teams on both sides of this that are knowing they're coming to the tail end of their basketball career, which you play it all your life. That's got to be a big deal. And I think with San Diego State fighting, to guarantee seeding, and then if they move on, advance past that based on what they do in their conference tournament, what could happen. And so every win counts. And at this point, by what margin means a lot. So you're going to see, yesterday with Gonzaga, and then a previous game with Gonzaga I was telling you about, and then coming up with Gonzaga, read between the lines. The margin of victory matters. It's not just winning the game anymore. Gonzaga, if they just win, they're not going to be number one come tournament time. They have to keep it up and prove, because they're playing lesser competition, that they are number one for a reason, despite not playing who the likes of Auburn and Baylor and Kansas and Duke and all those teams are playing. So because of all that, you definitely want to focus on margin of victory over this next week until we get into conference tournaments. I'm taking San Diego State in what should be with home court. Again, it should matter this time of year. I would say they need to be given another 2.5 to 3 points for that. So 26.5 to 27 should be the accurate line. You can get it at minus 20, at minus $1.15. Anything under 21 I love. So I'll take San Diego State minus 20 as your official NCAA basketball pick. And then in the NHL, Kings Ducks over 5.5 goals at minus $1.15. That's a 10:05 game, 11 p.m. on the NCAA basketball game. Go to chasewins.com, get on something. Wait around for what could possibly be another big weekend of releases, especially if we have that game of the year. Can't wait to share it with you all. Can't wait to make you some money. You want to take this seriously? Come join the King. Let me make you some fucking money. Leave these other losers behind, and let me show you how it's really done. I love you guys, and I will see all of you in the winner's circle. Good luck.